Hey everyone, William here from 222 Productions, and I am here to talk to you about the Kansas City Regional Finals for American Ninja Warrior Season 9 in approximately 20 minutes or less, plus or minus 20 minutes, starting now. Okay, so let's just take a moment to stop and think. I know what you're probably thinking. William, this was an episode where we had no clears. The only other time was the Philadelphia Regional last year, the regional finals, and the cutoff point for the top 15 was failing the fifth obstacle. And the only other time that happened was the Venice Regional in A&W 7, and you blew a gasket over that. As evidenced by one of the episodes of the Final Stage podcast. Surely you must have hated this episode. And I would totally understand why you would think that. But here's the thing. I really liked this episode. I really enjoyed watching this episode, as crazy as it sounds. This was just fun to watch, and I think one of the things that differentiates this regional from the previous three regionals that I wasn't so high on is presentation. Back in Final Stage Podcast episode 23. We did a review of Konoichi 9, and one of the things that I mentioned was that a big reason why I liked Konoichi 9 so much was its presentation. To me, presentation is very important. A good show is a show where you could have 0 stars and still make the show seem exciting. And that is the importance of good presentation. And the other thing is, I didn't mention this before last week, but I had finally got around to watching Konoichi 10, and I loved it. It had fantastic presentation, a great course. I loved watching it overall, and I would honestly say that it's like my favorite Ninja Warrior thing this year. So and probably will stay that way. The other thing is that it's Kansas City. It was. I don't want to insult the people who were there, but it had the weakest results of all the regionals. People are like, oh, Denver's the hardest. I'd say Denver's the second hardest. Kansas City was probably the hardest just because of the cutoff point was the regional qualifiers was the only one that had the cutoff point at obstacle 4 instead of obstacle 5 like all the other ones. So I didn't have high hopes for high clears, but so let's just kind of get through this. But one of the other reasons I like this so much is, in regards to presentation, was just the amount of runs that were shown. We got 15 runs. That is astoundingly high compared to everyone else. And these are full runs. There was no runs this time that were started in mid-progress. And we had, what was that? That says 14. 14 fast forwards. Unfortunately, it means 6 ninjas got cut because 35 competed this time around. But it's just a lot of fun to watch. I don't think the regional course needs to be that long. I just think it could be faster. It needs to be faster. And I think this kind of shows, when you're going through competitors faster, it's more enjoyable. And there was a kind of a funness, I don't know, excitement to watching people take on stuff like the broken pipes and the crank it ups, because the way things were going, there was no guarantee, and some of the shocking falls honestly made things more enjoyable. But getting a little ahead of myself, let's just quickly go through the course. So first up, course floating steps. Then was the hang glider, which I still kind of think is a mediocre obstacle. Then was broken pipes, which is simple yet fun. Obstacle, crank it up. Once again, they, like I predicted, they made it easier by only requiring 2 cranks instead of 3. Then it was the bar hop, the warped wall, the salmon ladder, and then the return of the floating monkey bars, which is an obstacle that I really like. And followed by a brand new obstacle called the Iron Maiden. This was from the A&W Design Contest. It was actually designed by competitor Brett Sims, who competed earlier in the season. it's almost kind of like a reverse pegboard sort of thing, where basically you got these spikes that are coming out of this diagonal board, and you have these handles that can fit around, that have a hole in them. And they fit around the spikes, and so you got to make your way down. And then on the other side, I'm guessing they probably nerfed it from the original design, because the second board, when you go back up, you're just grabbing the spikes itself, and then on the third board you make your way down. So it is a bit weird in that, like, you know, only a little more than half, because the third board is like only half length. So a little more than half of the obstacle actually uses the handles, but I like it. It's kind of cool. And then, of course, the final obstacle was the elevator climb. And so we're going to get through a few people. We got a guy named Moose, PE teacher. I appreciate that, he teaches his children fitness. I was very surprised when he was talking about how, like, he was paying them $50 a week at some points because of how much fitness they were doing. Long story, basically, he instead of allowance, he pays them if they do healthy stuff, but they ended up being so good at doing athletics that they're breaking the bank. When he made it past the bar hop, he actually kind of started favoring his ankle, but was still able to make it up to the warped wall, and then he almost immediately failed the salmon ladder. Very not a good way up. Then we had a guy named Alex Carson, who is a tuba player, and then failed the floating monkey bars. Kind of just slipped off, didn't get a good hook. We had a couple. We had one of the women competitors, Sarah Heeson, bartender, failed the crank it up. She actually failed the end of the crank it up, because basically it's two cranks and then you got to jump to like a bar that will then you can then get to the platform for. She failed grabbing the last bar, which that's gotta suck, because that essentially means that all that work was useless, because it didn't mean anything. Due to how the show works. Then we had a series of shocking failures, and I'm just gonna kind of skip around a bit on this one. So one of they feature Ethan Swanson, who I like. I remember I saw him in NNL, the Ninja Quest regional. He ended up winning that one. He had a quick profile piece, which I actually like. I like how they presented it with just Matt talking about, like, oh, hey, he does all these crazy stuff for YouTube. But then he fails the broken pipe, and it's like, whoa, very, very shocking there, very, very surprising. That kind of sucks. And then you had friends of Ethan Swanson, the Towers of Power, and their whole story was that, like, we've never had a situation where the two of us bros made it to Midoriyama together in the same season, bro. So me and my bro are gonna bro it out together and make a brotastic performances and make it to Midoriyama, bro, together. Two of us, bro. I don't know if they watch wrestling, but I gotta imagine their favorite tag team has to be the Hype Bros. I'll just leave it at that. So they showed Dan Pleasy first of the two Towers of Power, and then they showed him falling on the broken pipes. And they actually showed, one thing I do like, they showed that compared to the regional qualifiers and the regional finals, he actually took bigger strides on the first pipe, and that might have contributed to him slipping, got too aggressive. And so basically, Towers of Power not going to be able to go the same time. And then later on, they had shown Brendan Mears, actually very late in the episode. They showed Brendan Mears, and he had to avenge his two friends for the broken pipe, and he actually also failed the broken pipe very shockingly. There was just, I don't know. There's just something about seeing like all these people fail the broken pipes. It was kind of like a whole sort of effect to it. It was entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I felt bad for Brandon because he essentially bounced off the landing pad. He made it to the landing pad, but he more or less bounced off of it and backwards into the water, and you can just tell he was torn, distraught, just very sad, and I don't blame him. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, we had just like a lot of like really random profiles. Some that I think kind of are just a bit too random for my liking. But people got their time to shine. Wes Whitlam failed the bar hop. I kind of okay. So here's the thing. They show this Wes guy. He didn't make it through. I kind of there was a few people who never got shown in both episodes. One of them was Jeremiah Morgan, who, if you don't remember, made it to stage 3 in AW 7. I believe he didn't compete in AW 8 due to religious reasons, because the whole not competing on the Sabbath thing that his family believes in. If you remember, they're the super Christian family. I don't know if super Christian is the right word. It's just yeah. But they also, unfortunately, there was 2 SMF guys who once again got cut. Even though they both made it to Vegas. So I just want to say congratulations, guys, for making it to both Ben and Donovan. You both did. You both made it. We're all proud of you. So congratulations. But yeah, hopefully we get to see you in Vegas. But it sucks that you got completely cut both times. That's not cool. We'll talk about more of that when we get to the end. One of the things I want to talk about was the women. So they talked about Maggie Thorne. They featured Maggie Thorne. I'll say this: I like the way they handled this profile for the regional finals better than they did with the regional qualifier profile. Simply because it didn't like last time when they talked about her divorce, it felt very uncomfortable to watch to me. But this one, it was a bit more comfortable, because it was more of a case of we got divorced and it was difficult to deal with, but I got these friends helping me now in the digital community, and that was better. It didn't feel like they were starting to get into TMI territory where it got uncomfortable. But I got to give her props, because she cleared the Crank It Up, and she is the only woman to do that. And I don't blame and she didn't make it look easy for herself. I mean, she had a scary slip on the broken pipes, but was able to recover. And when she made it through the Crank It Up, she was super excited. And then she failed the bar hop. Where did she lose the grip? I think it was the second set she lost her grip on. I didn't write down which one it was. So yeah, but then she actually got the Palm Wonderful run of the night, and I immediately raised my eyebrows when I saw that she got the Palm run of the night, and I entirely blame Rich for this from the Arbitrated podcast. I know he's going to watch this, so Rich. So remember back in San Antonio where you were like, oh, I knew Daniel Gill was going to clear because the Palm Wonderful run of the night wasn't awarded yet, and if Daniel had failed, then I know they would have given the award to Barclay because she is a woman who did really well. So when this happened, when they gave it to a woman who did really well, immediately I got very suspicious about what was going to happen the rest of this episode. And it turns out, I ended up being right. But I mean, there's a weird thing about the whole Palm Wonderful thing, right? Is that it's so spoilery if they're not careful, unless they give it to someone who clears in the middle of the episode on a run where in an episode where there are multiple clears. It's the only way. Actually, I would say you don't even need multiple clears. Just have it in the middle of an episode. Have the clear shown, and as long as it's not Vegas where you're showing having a Palm Wonderful run on stage 2, it can help alleviate that problems. But I think the biggest way to alleviate the Palm Wonderful run of the night problem is just get rid of it. You know, you don't need to put it at the end or anything like that. You don't need a Palm Wonderful run of the night. Think about how much advertising Palm Wonderful already has on this show. Every time someone fails the course, they have a Palm Wonderful towel thrown on their shoulder. Every time someone is interviewed by Christine Leahy, it's the Palm post-run interview. The water tanks have the Palm Wonderful bottle, a giant picture on the bottom of the pool tanks. There's so much Palm branding. Do you need a Palm Wonderful Crazy Healthy Run of the Night, as it's called? Is it just because they need to get the Crazy Healthy slogan in at some point? Why not just, instead, you can just replace it with like a Palm Wonderful Crazy Healthy moment, or yeah, like don't even do a run. Just have it a moment. Have it be like a cool moment, so that way it doesn't matter. Or do a segment where like some ninjas drink some Palm Wonderful and be like, "Hey, Palm Wonderful, it's crazy healthy. I love it." I want to talk about NBC shows. Like Biggest Loser does that stuff all the time. They'll do like obviously scripted segments where like the trainers are talking to one of the contestants and be like, "Hey, look at this product. It's good for weight loss." And, why not just do something like that, And besides, like, the Palm, all that advertising, does it really work? Does it really make you want to, like, drink Palm Wonderful? I don't know. I don't get it. Ugh. That said, man, all that talking about Palm Wonderful, it really got me thirsty. Just kind of worked up, made my throat dry. So, hold on just a second. All right, here we go. Let me just open this up here. There we go. It's a brand new bottle. Pour myself a nice drink. Yeah. If you really want to do a sponsorship, why not just show them drinking? Some nice, delicious pomegranate juice. Maybe they can do something like say, "Hey, here's to you. Cheers." So a toast to Kansas City for being pretty good. In all seriousness, I actually do like pomegranate juice. But when I went to go buy this for this stupid joke, one thing I didn't know is that there's a tag here. I'm just going to walk up to the camera to show this for a second. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It actually has an advertisement for American Ninja Warrior on the Palm Wonderful bottles. It says, "See Palm on American Ninja Warrior," and then you can open it up. I'm just going to read this because, I don't know, there's not an actual total lot more to talk about Kansas City. It's only three other ones I want to talk about. Thirsty ninjas know Palm Wonderful has a key electrotype, aka potassium, that helps maintain healthy muscles and unleashes your inner warrior. Every warrior needs a superpower. Palm is the antioxidant superpower. Antioxidants help protect cells from damage over time by destroying free radicals. Drink daily for superpowers. So, yeah. And then in the back it says, "See Palm on American Ninja Warrior Mondays at 8, 7, 10 Central on NBC." So, you're welcome, Palm. You just got some free advertising from me. So, just want to go through a few more runs. Mitch Vitapo ended up being the best competitor of the night. They talk about how he was in a long-distance relationship. I don't remember if he was actually... She's not actually a ninja, so just like another long-distance story. It was kind of weird. I guess they kind of needed something, considering he's the only one to even make it to the elevator climb. This episode. It's actually an interesting way to end the first half. He made it up to the top. He actually failed the bar hop last time. And then he beat that obstacle, so huge improvement on his part. I felt bad for him. He fell with 5 feet left. He conceivably could have potentially got his feet up to the platform if he lifted super hard, but he gassed it at the very end. I felt bad for him. And actually, at that point, there was actually we had to wait a half hour because of the whole presidential address that just happened. But yeah, I got around to that. Once that was over, got back to just some random runs. We saw. Yeah, I think one of the other reasons I like this episode is that we got a variety of runs. It was unpredictable. We had a variety. It was unpredictable. It wasn't the same obstacle failing over and over again. And I just want to say this now. I'm not against like ninja killers. I'm against bad obstacles as ninja killers. Like, in my personal opinion, the nail clipper, giant cubes, and hourglass drop are all bad obstacles for various reasons, and I don't like them being ninja killers as a result. None of the obstacles I would consider bad. The worst obstacle in this episode was the hang glider, and that was just mediocre. And also wasn't a ninja killer, so whatever. Few notes. Devin Harrison, aka Dougie Fresh, he unfortunately failed the floating steps. Oh, that's so sad. What sucks is that I remember from the qualifier episodes the previous year he had failed the floating steps in qualifier. So even though he was able to beat his demons this time, he had regained the same demons by failing the floating steps again, and that must suck. We had Battle of the Women. So obviously Maggie Thorne made it through because she's the only woman to even beat the Crank It Up. So it became a battle between Sarah Schobeck and Sarah Heeson. And they had this profile about how they're great friends. And so Sarah Schobeck had to figuratively kill her best friend in order to move on to Vegas. Figuratively. Again, figuratively. Let's not get crazy here. So basically, they said she had to make it. She had to clear the broken pipes in a minute 10 point something. I think it was like 0.1. And the whole thing. And so Schobeck learned a pretty valuable lesson in American Ninja Warrior. You can't spend a lot of time in between obstacles. You can't spend too much time. She spent way too much time, especially in front of the broken pipes. There was no reason to spend as much time as she did. And she ended up losing by 0.3 seconds. Now, when I was watching the episode, as soon as she hit the pad, I knew instantly she was too slow. And she would have had to beat to Crank It Up in order to move on. Because, again, eyes, it was a big enough distance that you can tell that it was a difference, that she didn't make it in time watching on TV when you have both clocks on screen. Obviously, she didn't know because she couldn't see the clock. I don't know. I'm not even sure if she even knew what the time to beat was. What I think the biggest thing from that run that for me that I learned was what A&W actually considers clearing an obstacle. Because for the longest time we knew clearing the salmon ladder is when you touch the next obstacle. What I didn't know is that for stuff like the broken pipe, you are considered having to clear it the moment you touch the landing pad. So they actually went with when her hands touch the landing pad. I always thought it was when your feet touch, because that's like when you land on it. In my personal definition, but no, it's when any of your body parts touch it. So that's interesting. That's good to know. The other two runs, there's only two more runs I want to talk about. Tyler Yamayushi. I always want to put a G in there, but it's not. He trains with Tara's Power and Ethan Swanson. He said nothing on the course could take me down. He was a bit slow on the broken pipes. I guess he was. He ended up. Okay, this run sucked. Not this run. This fail sucked to watch because he failed the Iron Maiden. Not because he tired out or anything. Basically, he should have moved one peg down before he tried the final dismount. But because he didn't, he ended up slipping like backwards on the dismount, and he ended up failing at like the end of the obstacle, which it was entertaining fall though. It had like a lot of drama to it. What sucks is that like he probably would have cleared the course. We probably would have had a course cleared just because he seemed primed to take on the elevator climb. He didn't seem tired, so he probably could have done it. Then the final competitor was Lance Pekus. And I felt like, I don't know, he works with kids in ranches. That's cool. He ended up feeling the broken pipes, not the broken pipes, the floating monkey bars. And so he ended up going to Vegas. No one cleared. They didn't mention who was on the bubble, which not a fan of. It would have been nice to mention that. Um, so yeah, but yeah, no, he's going to Vegas, but no one cleared this time around, which is fine. Is fine. It would have been nice if we had more than 2 people attempt the Iron Maiden because I really like that obstacle. I hope they bring it back. I hope we see it again. But yeah, so I guess that's it. I was entertaining. I was entertained, which is more than I could say about the last 3 final episodes. So I'll just get through the top 15 here. We had 0 clears, but we had 1 person make it to the elevator climb. That would be Mitch Vitapo, so he was the best of Kansas City. We had 1 person fail the Iron Maiden in Tyler Yamauchi. We had 7 people fail the floating monkey bars in Hunter Garrard, Eric Middleton, Dave Kavanaugh, congratulations, Lance Pikas, Jeremiah Morgan, Jelani Allen, and Andrew Alex Carson. And we had 5 people who failed the salmon ladder, and Kyle Mendoza, Spencer Johns, Brad Spine, Ben Baker, Morgan Moose Wright, and the final person in the top 15 failed the bar hop in Donovan Matoyer. And the top 2 women are Maggie Thorne, who failed the bar hop, and Sarah Heason, who failed Crank It Up. And it's time. And so that is my thoughts on Kansas City. It was fun and entertaining, despite the fact that it had horrible, horrible failure all around. What can I say? You know, I work in mysterious ways sometimes when it comes to my opinion on American Ninja Warrior. So that's it. What do you guys think? Did you like Kansas City Final? Did you dislike it? Let me know. I'm actually curious to hear what your thoughts, because I imagine some people might be surprised by my opinion on this episode. Next week is the last regional final of the season. It is Denver. I'm very interested in seeing what happens. I know the wedge is back. Oh my god, they're going to die. They're all going to die. I will be shocked if we have more than 1 finisher in Denver. I'm just saying that right now. So yeah, but hey, we get to see what happens. But until next time, bye everyone. Here's to you.